Hi there everybody, this is Miss Nelson here, and today we're doing lesson 7.7 in our 4th grade Florida Go math books. Lesson 7.7 is about adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So yesterday we learned what a mixed number is. It's where you have a big whole number in front of your fraction. So we're going to have two of those today that we need to add together. So the process is just a little bit different than your regular way of adding fractions. So here our problem says, after a party, there were 1 and 4/6 quesadillas left on the tray, and 2 and 3/6 quesadillas left on another tray. How much of the quesadillas were left? So we need to add 1 and 4/6 plus 2 and 3/6. So first step they say is to add the fraction parts of the mixed numbers. So we're going to kind of just ignore the big numbers in the front and add 4/6 and 3/6. So I'm going to go ahead and color in 4/6. And I'm going to color in 3 more for the other 3/6. So it's going to be 1, 2, and then the third one will have to go over here because there's not enough. So that tells me if I add all those up, 4 plus 3, that's 7/6, the fraction part. Now the second step is to add the whole number parts of the mixed number. So my whole numbers are 1 and 2. I know 1 plus 2 is 3. And you could color all these in if you want. Shade the model 1 plus 2. So they had 1 there plus 2. So all 3 of those are colored in. This part right here, this is just moved down from up here. We colored in a whole plus one other little piece of pie. And now we're adding the big numbers in the front, so we have 3 holes. But really, when you look at this picture, you can see not only are there 3 holes, there's this hole that we filled up with part of the fractions too. So that's going to help us with our answer. We can see now that our answer is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 plus this 1/6 piece. Now, to get there, we've already got our 3 and 7/6. We're going to rename the sum. So 3 and 7/6 equals 3 and 6/6 plus 1/6. Because there's that hole. The reason that we're doing that is because there's this hole that was made when we added the 4/6 and the 3/6. So we're writing that as the whole plus this extra little piece as the 1/6. So we're kind of taking what we know about decomposing fractions and doing that there. So 3 plus 1 plus 1/6 equals 4/6. They changed this 6/6 into a 1. So there are 4 and 1/6 quesadillas left. Now, that's a lot of steps, and it's pictures, and that's probably not what you would do in real life. If you were to add in real life, you would probably do something like this. Let's say that we have 4 and 1/2, and we wanted to add 2 and 1/2. I would first add up my fraction parts, which is 1/2 plus 1/2, which is 2/2. And then I would add up my wholes. 4 plus 2 is 6. And then I'd rename this because I know 2 over 2 is like an extra whole. So I'd rewrite that as 7. So this extra whole right here, I'm changing into 1 and adding it to the 6 that I already had. So that's how I'd probably do it in real life rather than drawing all those models. Let's do one more. Let's say we have 2 and 2/3. Let's make that a little bit bigger. 2 and 2/3. thirds, and I want to add 3 and 2 thirds. I'll first add my fraction parts. So I have 2 thirds plus 2 thirds gives me 4 thirds. Then I will add my wholes over here. 2 plus 3 is 5. And now I've got to look at this number, 5 and 4 thirds, and I've got to rename it. We can't have this 4 thirds. So I'm going to say, I know 3 thirds would make a whole, and then the fourth would be an extra 1 third. So I'm going to take this 1 whole and add it to my 5, which would give me 6. And then I still have this 1 third that I have to add on to there. So 6 and 1 third. So that's how I add mixed numbers. Let's try subtracting mixed numbers. Let's say that we had 3 and 4, 6, and I want to subtract 2 and 3, 6. So I'm going to start with my fractions, and I have 4, 6 minus 3, 6. 4 minus 3 is 1, and it's still 6. And then I move over to my whole numbers. 3 minus 2 is 1. So 1 and 1/6. Let's try another one. Let's do 6 and 4/5. And we want to subtract 3 and 3/5. Start with my fractions. 4/5 minus 3/5. 4 minus 3 is 1, and the fifths stay the same. And then move to my whole numbers. 6 minus 3 is 3. So 3 and 1/5. Okay, so that is lesson 7.7. It's how to add or subtract mixed numbers. If you're in my class, the password is Cinderella, and you should have filled out page 293 as you were watching the video. If you have any questions, just leave me a message.